Another day. Got to stop meeting like this. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals Podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast, or what's left of this team. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack at the PHNX headquarters in downtown Phoenix. Had a nice little Friday show wrapped up for everybody. Sure, we were going to talk about yesterday's post, the cryptic post that we now know from Budda Baker was his smokescreen, his signal out to the masses. I want out. He has officially, per rap sheet, among others, requested a trade from the Arizona Cardinals, Brack.
He has the heart and soul of the Arizona Cardinals, like the one redeeming player, just part of this organization from Hard Knocks last year, making the fiery speeches, the heartfelt speeches, playing on a high ankle sprain just days after suffering it, playing with a cracked shoulder. The guy that kind of embodies what you heard from Jonathan Gannon, the type of player he wants, probably embodies the player every NFL coach wants, now officially wants out, according to multiple reports. Budda Baker has requested the trade. More in depth, Jeremy Fowler and Josh Weinfuss with information saying that he's just been completely unhappy with how things have gone this entire offseason. And you have to think back to when the Cardinals parted ways with Cliff Kingsbury, Johnny, and Budda was one of the vocal players expressing that he wanted Vance Joseph to come back, and they parted ways with VJ. He's now the DC in Denver. You have to figure how much does that play into the equation. But he's going to be 27 years old this year. He's got 2 years left on his contract, and it doesn't feel like he wants to play that out here in the desert.
Well, and we don't know the Cardinals' stance, whether or not they're open to dealing him. It feels like between the lines, we had heard rumblings that maybe he asked for additional years on his contract, maybe more money. I think maybe it's part of that. It's part of the fact that he feels like they're not going to be competitive next year. And listen, the offseason, it has been quiet. They have not made a series of robust moves. They're going to part ways, you would assume, at some point with DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray's status is up in the air. Budda was your one constant. And you mentioned he's 27 years old. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's the Cardinals' best pound-for-pound player. He may not be their most valuable in terms of the quarterback position, but he's their best player. I mean, the hierarchy of like the big three for the Cardinals, Budda, D-Hop, Kyler Murray. You've got two that supposedly won out, or at least one, and the other one's getting traded. And then Kyler Murray's not going to be ready to start the season. I mean, that's the reality that you're going to have to face if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan. As crazy as it sounds, if he wants a trade, I think they will at least entertain it. And here's why. They have Jalen Thompson on the roster. Isaiah Simmons can play safety. They don't value the position in terms of paying it a robust amount of money. Now, you would fear what that would do to the locker room. I wouldn't trade him. I said it yesterday. You need to extend him. He's the heart and soul of your team. And people come at me and say, why would you extend Budda Baker when the team may not be great next year and so on and so forth? You have to pay players. I mean, this is you don't get to recoup the money. You have to use your salary cap money. You have to spend so much money year over year. And so if you don't pay Budda, who are you paying if you're not paying Budda Baker? And if you don't want to extend him past 2 years, then you should trade him. If that's the mindset of the Cardinals is, we're not going to extend you when you're 29 years old, 30 years old. I'm sorry, Adrian Wilson played for this franchise well into his late 20s, early 30s. They had no problem paying him. He was a good player. Budda is an interchangeable piece in the secondary. I think Budda is going to age well. But the Cardinals cannot come out and say, don't make that face at me. The Cardinals cannot come out and say. I
disagree with him. I mean, he plays with such violence. And
but his size, that's just not
as far as lengthy careers, I just don't know if it adds up. I mean, we've seen guys that play the position at a high level before short spurts, right? Like a Bob Sanders. It's like once those injuries started piling up and they took their toll, unfortunately, those guys aren't long for the NFL world. There's a short shelf life for that. So, but this remains to be kind of the straw that broke the camel's back as far as the fan base goes. After dealing with all of this shit, all this dysfunction, and kind of the one bright light that you had remaining in your organization, you fuck that up? I mean, I think that's where this fan base is kind of, they're tired. They're tired of all of this. They want, at least said, hey, on Sunday, I can go to State Farm Stadium and I could go watch a guy play with his hair on fire. I can watch a guy just torpedo his body around and play with reckless abandon and make big play after big play. And now they're going to be robbed of that potentially. But I mean, when you look at the business side of this, when you look at the harsh reality of the NFL and also the harsh reality of new regimes coming in and not giving a crap about what the previous regime did and what you did before that, and you can say the most, nice, just things about a guy like Budda Baker, like we heard Monty Ossenfort say, and Jonathan Gannon say, that it doesn't matter. Like, is this a product, though, Johnny, of DeAndre Hopkins' market falling through and them still not having traded, the third overall pick? Did they envision those as being the assets that they were going to deal and get future draft capital and start this rebuild? And it just hasn't come to fruition. And now they're like, well, we've got Budda Baker. We didn't want to have to do this, but maybe.
No, because I don't think they want to trade Budda. Let me make that clear. But I think this is Budda driven, and wisely. If his agent is doing his job, the Cardinals are in a vulnerable position with the fan base. You just mentioned that. Cardinals have money to spend. They're not spending money. They have money to be spent elsewhere. And Budda is one of the lone stalwarts that you're going to want to pay to see this fall. So if I'm Budda Baker, I'm saying, shit, I'll hold out, trade me. Another team will extend me. You need to pay me more money because I'm the one.
Can I push back on that a little bit? I mean,
okay, go ahead.
What we've been kind of outlining this entire offseason is we watch Monty Ossenfort clean up the mess from Steve Keim, right? We say that they're cleaning up the mess, right? And they're trying to get themselves out from under any kind of future money, and they're going to start to draft and develop premium positions. When you look at the safety position, it's not a premium position in the NFL. So when you're looking at Budda Baker, who's going to be 27 years old, you're going to pay him, you're going to lock him in for future guaranteed dollars beyond 29, 30. I think that
he's in an advantageous position.
That's bad.
Well, from a business sense, you want people to show up, buy these new uniforms, and this is people's favorite player. He's got leverage. He's got leverage. His people have leverage. Hey, if you don't want to extend me, this team, he can come out and be the mouthpiece for the fan base. Like, you didn't do anything this offseason. And I'm not saying they should give Budda a bunch of guaranteed money into his mid to late 30s. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it makes sense for Budda and his agent. If he just wants to leave and it's not about the money and it's about winning, that's another conversation entirely. But Budda's probably saying, if you're going to ask me to help see us through this rebuild, I need to be secure financially and have years tacked on so I can see it come to fruition in years 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. And if Budda Baker approached the front office and said, I want a new contract, they said no. Okay, you're not going to be worth a shit, in my opinion. You need to trade me. I'm the only stalwart that people are going to want to see, the homegrown talent, right? You let Byron Murphy go. You let Zach Allen go. Kyler's not healthy. You're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins, right? With all due respect to like Zach Ertz, who may not be healthy, James Conner, what other names are people really driving into State Farm Stadium to see? Budda's at the top of the list, right? He has to be their number one jersey sale after Kyler Murray, maybe DeAndre Hopkins. Those are your big three. And he's got leverage. He should use leverage. I'm for Budda using his leverage. Does this make me sad on a Friday afternoon? We have to have this conversation. Yeah. Does it?
I didn't envision just having this conversation. I thought it was off the table. It makes a ton
of sense, though.
I thought it was off the table, but I also can get into the corner and say, well, you have 2 more years on your contract. You got 2 more years on your contract.
You know who doesn't want to hear that?
Producer Shane is losing his mind back here. Are you looking at the chat? Is the chat cracking you up? Oh,
fans?
We're having a serious football conversation, and one of the hosts takes a break, a Capri Sun sip. It does kind of throw off the seriousness of the combo.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this
Can you save drinking your children's drink for after the Budda Baker conversation?
I wish I had a Four Peaks. I don't, though.
Because,
I'm trying to keep this light with some Roaring Waters Capri Suns for everybody in the chat. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be serious for a second. Budda Baker has his ace to play. This is his ace to play. Get it together. This is a professional show. We got a bunch of new viewers here. Like this video, share it around the YouTube metaverse. It's important for fans to feel like they're empowered with their players, and they already don't have Kyler Murray. You have an opportunity, if you're Budda Baker, just to say, hey, guys, I've been remember when we thought he was done last year and he came back and he was playing like 2 weeks later?
It was like seeing a ghost. It was unbelievable. They said he was going to be out 2 to 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. He was on the practice field the next day. He was in the starting lineup that Sunday. It was unbelievable.
Well, here's the deal.
You can take another sip or eat one of your orange slices that your wife cut you up.
I'm good. I'm hydrated and ready to go. I have this conversation in all seriousness. If Budda and his people have a market out there that are willing to add on years, and he's a He's a Hall of Fame safety. He's one of the few players that this franchise has drafted who will probably go into the Hall of Fame. Aeneas Williams left the team. He was traded away. I think he was traded away to the St. Louis Rams, won a Super Bowl. Like that's what Budda Baker probably wants to do. He probably wants that same trajectory, or he wants assurance by the Cardinals, pay me, and then I'll carry the water because I got this team on my back right now. Yeah, he does. He has the entire franchise on his back. Kyler, his situation is hot and cold. He's injured. He's in the media taking darts. Budda's their one constant. He's their white knight. Michael Bidwell's in the news for all the wrong reasons. Gannon, Austin Ford are unproven. If you can't keep Budda Baker happy, then this is what you get.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these super chats. Johnny, you can work on your coloring book as we go through these. Jacob, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We excited about jerseys with this roster? It's a great question. As the jerseys, we got more information according to Kyle Odegaard of Compare.bet about when they're going to unveil those new jerseys. Jalen Blair chiming in with a nice $5 super chat. When you asking guys to waste years of their career while you rebuild, and then you have to compensate them to stay.
That's right. Jalen's 100%
For
right.
sure, it is. But Monty Austinfort and Jonathan Gannon, they're in the business of building the best roster they can possibly do.
You got to have people come out to the games this year.
I understand
you got to field the team.
I understand that, but you also have to the reality of 2023. It's becoming more and more sobering that it is a full-on rebuild. And as far as the results and what you're going to in trying to attract people, you're kind of conceding at that, right? For the best of what you can do, it's as far as spending and building a roster in 2024. And it's tough when you have a player like Budda Baker who's never going to embrace a rebuild. Our guy Dylan Richards is pointing out when he said earlier this offseason, and we had zero context to it at this point, it was a month ago in March, said you want to catch a wolf, you need wolves. So a guy to stand back and kind of look at this organization, sign, third and fourth string guys to 1 and 2 year deals. He's probably like, what are we doing? He's like, you got to get yourself ready. You got to get your mind, your body ready. You got to work. Like, remember the passionate speech he had after the loss to the Eagles that was shown on Hard Knocks. He doesn't know how to rebuild or how to take an off year. So it's tough. When you have competitors in your locker room, they're not going to be on board what's actually best for the organization, hit the full reset button on the roster and rebuilding from the ground up. And that's just unfortunate. But also, like when you saw in Hard Knocks and you saw guys who are going to be in the Hall of Fame like J.J. Watt, when you hear guys like DeAndre Hopkins talk about their legacy and their future and can they make the Hall of Fame, and just this short window that they have in order to cash in money-wise and also cash in as far as success in playing and contending in the NFL, it's so small that it makes sense potentially for this relationship to end in divorce between Budda Baker and the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't know how Cardinal fans can pick themselves up if that were to happen. Like if Budda Baker is traded between now and the draft or on draft weekend, first of all, I guess we have to have a conversation about what you could get for Budda Baker. But that's an almost impossible situation for this new regime to have to deal with. And Budda's going to go and have immediate success elsewhere, and you're going to have to eat a big shit sandwich for 12 to 18 months. That's I don't know. I know it get worse before it gets better, but that's the kind. Trading D-Hop is one thing. His best football likely is behind him. Maybe he's got a couple more peak years. He's in his 30s. I think it's a little bit naive to say Budda Baker at 27 can't be an elite safety for a handful of more years. I'm just of that mindset. You could disagree. I think it would be a mistake. I think he could go be the centerpiece of somebody's defense, the centerpiece of somebody's secondary, a team that's got their act together, and be able to have immense accolades. Then you're talking about like Budda Baker eventually going into the Hall of Fame and saying, I want to chip somewhere else. This is the team I resonate with. It's like Cardinal fans would have to deal with that. They retire his jersey elsewhere. That matters. That matters more than just a couple years on a contract to me. It's a legacy play. Shit, man. Michael Bidwell, you gave Larry Fitzgerald contracts well into his mid to late 30s. Probably overpaid him. I'm Hall of Fame talent that you draft and develop does not grow on trees, especially for this franchise. You can have a Budda Baker contract into his late 20s, early 30s, and have it be manageable with other maneuvers. I just think it's a naive approach to say, got to trade him because at the end of the day, you know what? We're not going to be good. Let him go play elsewhere. Safeties don't make that much money. This is an easy decision. You have a nice small extension in place. Get him signed through 2020, what? 2026.
Is Budda Baker going to play better football after his contract, the next 2 years of his contract run out, than he's played before that, and he's going to play in the next 2 years?
This is from Adam Schefter, Michael Bauer. I agree with you both. No. But it's this franchise. Sometimes you have to you do what's best for the team, but he is the team. He's the heart and soul of the team. I don't think a Budda Baker contract is going to prohibit you from doing some good stuff. I mean, how many defensive backs play on a given Sunday? You carry so many DBs. You can pay Budda Baker. Front load it. Give him guaranteed money this year. Give him extra money. Balloon his cap to this year.
He's making what, $14 and $13 million respectively
bump it up
over
to
the next
$20 million.
years?
If you got to put on your tin soldier hat and carry this franchise this year, he should be the highest paid player on the team this year. Once Hopkins gone, pay him $25 million this year. Front load it. You're not spending that money elsewhere.
This is where I'm disagreeing with you on this. I think that, they've paid him handsomely. At one point, he was the highest paid safety in the NFL. And just because this current regime, this front office, has to pay for the sins of their predecessors and the lack of team building that they did over the last couple of years, and putting this team in a horrible situation roster-wise, that they're rebuilding and they're trying to create future, cap space to, either bring in future free agents or keep players that they draft and develop that are going to be in their prime. When Budda Baker's done with this contract, he's going to be 29. So to add on to that from a football business standpoint, that doesn't make sense. I see Ryan here, $4.99 super chat. Thank you for that. Asking if they trade Budda, what would they get in return? Let's get into that in a little bit. But what's the latest you have from Schefter, Johnny?
Yeah, this is from Michael Bauer in the chat, and then Schefter on Twitter. Budda Baker informed the Cardinals in February that he wanted to be traded or receive a new deal to make him the highest paid safety. So there it is. So something we speculated yesterday. And listen, it makes sense. It's like, hey guys, I'm going to have to carry this team. Can you give me a little bit more money, highest paid safety, or can you trade me? Here's what I'm going to say. I don't fault either party. Maybe you can fault Michael Bidwell. You put him off in a corner. You can fault Steve Keim. I don't fault Monty Ossenford, Jonathan Gannon, or Budda Baker. I think they're all playing in their own best interests. And that's a cop-out answer, Bo. But it's like, we know that Gannon made Reed Blankenship a really nice complimentary safety. Look what he did for all the defensive backs in Philadelphia. So Gannon's probably thinking, Budda, I want you on the team. We want to pay you, what you're owed. But I can make undrafted guys and late day 3 guys playmakers, and we're going to invest in the front 7. But my pushback is you gotta be able to field a team, and you need more than just on the field. And this team's leadership outside of Budda Baker was dreadful. It was so bad. And I know that that's the Gannon void that they're hoping he fills, that the leadership aspect. But you have players too.
Yeah, I'm going to say no on that. I mean, as far as agreeing with all parties involved, I mean, in February, Budda Baker, with 2 years on his deal, wants to be the highest paid safety in the league. It's just, it doesn't add up. Is he the best safety in the league? Is it necessary to go to the negotiation table with him again, just because they're staring down a rebuild, and that he's going to have to shoulder being one of the few familiar faces with this franchise? It just doesn't mean you take cap dollars and you just throw them at him and throw them at that problem and solve that solution. Like I said, it's to pay for Steve Keim's problems and the issues that he created. It shouldn't be Monty Ossenfort that has to do that and lock in a safety at 28, 29 years old with future guaranteed money when he's got 2 years left on his deal. I love watching Budda Baker play football. I think that he is the heart and soul of this organization, but does it mean that he should be the highest paid safety in the league? No, but those two things can remain true at the same time.
Listen, I'm going to make I don't think they will trade him. I think they'll keep him, and I think they'll call his bluff probably. I think Budda will report to camp, and I think Budda will play out the last 2 years of his contract. Let me preface this all by saying that. I don't think that Budda sitting out and losing money in a safety position where he only has 2 years of guaranteed money left. I don't think that happens. I think he shows up at some point. I think he shows up for his teammates, for the Marco Wilsons and the Zaven Collins and the Isaiah Simmons. But I'm sure he's going to be pissed off, and it's up to Gannon and company to win him over and just say, hey, let's go out and be as competitive as we can. Do you think Budda Baker holds out this year?
He doesn't strike me as the player that would do that. I see Mr. J say he'll be a cancer. He doesn't strike me as a player that would be a cancer and carry this into the locker room and let it impact how he was going to play or how he was going to compete. He didn't let a cracked shoulder do that to him in a game. He didn't let the Cardinals going 4-13 stop him from being the player that he was. He didn't let all the outside noise that was going on and all the distractions that were going on last season impact him. So I don't anticipate this impacting him. It's become a negotiation. So you're going to have Budda Baker's taking some steps on his behalf, and it's become more and more, as far as players doing this. We saw this last offseason when the Kyler Murray kind of weaponized his social media, took AZ out of his bio.
It worked.
Right? He started with the Wolves comment. He used the Michael Jordan from The Last Dance, taking things personal comment in GIF he posted on his social media. So he's already starting to do that. Let's continue to get into these super chats here. A little Dreezy with the $4.99 super chat. I won't buy a damn jersey if Budda gets traded. He's one of the only people you pay on this team, no question. He also makes JG and Monty look bad. And that's the issue. And I think that's these guys are right now. This is a very unpopular time to be the GM and the head coaches because they continue to have to clean up this mess left over by Steve Keim and Michael Bidwell.
But is Budda part of the mess though? Like, I think that's the point with fans are pushing back.
But they left this roster in such disarray that they had to pretty much hit the reset button.
They're going to
and start cleaning things up.
They're going to have, like, first of all, most of the players that are on the team this year, a lot of them outside of the guys on the rookie deal are not going to be on the team next year. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you think about all the players they signed this offseason, 1 year, 2 year deals max, easily maneuverable. You can get off of them in a heartbeat. Okay. It's like, you're going to have $50+ million, probably more than that. And fans are just going to say, like, yeah, you got to pay Budda Baker. Like, this is a brilliant move by he and his agent. I'll continue to beat that drum. I know people are saying he's got no leverage. Well, he's got the public of opinion and the fan base.
I agree with you that I think he would show up and be a good soldier, but I don't see this ending in him getting an extension.
I don't know. I don't know if he would hold out or not. That would be, I mean, like, the Cardinals would probably be content just moving forward if he does hold out, and then they'll fine him and he'll miss money and he'll show up eventually.
You guys,
the only way I think
they
trade him is if they got some ridiculous offer. And to your point, 27 and the position's a little devalued especially after the Jamal Adams trade. Like, what they would have to get at least a 1 for Budda Baker, don't you think?
Yeah,
to make it worth their while.
How many ones did the Jamal Adams fetch from
2
Seattle? 2?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
Got a Seahawks fan in the room.
Shane will tell you.
He won't divulge the information. Let's continue as you guys crush it in the chat. Corey Cards, $4.99 super chat. Hey, fellas, to me, this feels very selfish of Budda. He deserves money, but why not give his new resume an opportunity to the regime, I believe, to prove themselves first? So, yeah, why not let the new front office, new coaching staff prove themselves before trying to
I'm sure he's a little bit bummed. He signed his contract. The team was 7-0 2 years ago. They went to the playoffs, and now everyone is gone. His coach and his GM are gone. His DC is gone. Who are all these new people? My owner is in the news for all the wrong reasons. My quarterback is on the shelf indefinitely. Like, hey, guys, I'm the good soldier. Can you pay me a little bit more? I get it.
No. Next question. Take a sip from your juice box. B Money chiming in. Money boys, who we drafted number 1 overall next year. I mean, then you got 2 quarterbacks that are already
stop.
top
Oh
guys.
my God, I'm not doing that
Caleb
today.
Williams and Drake May from UNC. You could, if you love Kyler Murray, that becomes a huge asset that you can get a haul in return for.
I can't even look at you. We get to do all of our game days at BetMGM Sportsbook this fall. I want to see Budda Baker.
Yeah, that is
football.
pretty messed up, Bo. I can't believe you're not mentioning Marvin Harrison Jr. as the
Yeah,
number one
I
overall pick.
apologize. I apologize, Marvin Harrison
I saw this
Jr.
in the chat. Rare Bo L. It's not that rare, not as rare as you think, but it is an L. Bo's taking an L today for sure.
I don't think so.
I don't agree with his
Das
stance at
Lieber
all.
sent this $4.99 super chat and followed it up with the jersey is going to be asked to be traded.
New jerseys that are going to be.
Who are they going to get
unveiled.
to put that on? Have they contacted Bo and I to strut out there in the new jerseys? Hey,
They're going to have Jonathan Gannon wearing the jersey and pads himself.
Look at these schlubby guys from YouTube. We couldn't get any players, but these guys like the
Did
uniforms.
you just call yourself schlubby?
Look at this
Yeah, we're not-
schlubby middle-aged 5'6"
know
guy
what we
out
are.
here in the uniform.
Jalen Blair with
Who
the
this
$5
man?
super chat. What Jalen say there, Johnny?
Budda's 2024 year is a club option. New front office. No guarantee they pick it up. Great nugget here. So he could see this as the last year of his contract. Now I'm even more sad. I didn't even realize that. I didn't know it was a club option. Feels like everybody. If you get rid of Budda Baker, this franchise, man, you better have the fucking draft of your life, Monty Ossenford. You better get the offensive or defensive rookie of the year in 2 weeks from yesterday. You want to get rid of Budda Baker, you got to hit home run after home run, add in some doubles and some singles. Because here's what I don't want to have happen. You entertain trading Budda Baker, you piss him off, you don't pay him. We fast forward to the fall. Rookie class, they're fine. They're just okay, hanging out, right? And then it's just like, oh, we have this Hall of Fame safety we drafted. He's 27. He wants out. Before you fill me a Budda Baker trade, you got to give me some sugar first. You got to give me some players that are worth a shit. They are under, I think, even more immense pressure to nail the draft in 2 weeks. This does not help. Hopkins has got a foot out the door. The leverage is gone there. You may have to give him away. If you're not going to pay Budda Baker, it's like the fan base is irate. The uniforms are dropping soon. We don't know how those look. You better come out and hit a home run. Like at this point, it almost feels like you better find a way to walk away with Will Anderson Jr. just to appease everybody because you're pissing off everybody. You're pissing off me.
If you're looking at the looking for the highest paid safeties in the NFL as far as average per season, Derwin James is your highest paid with the Chargers. He's making just over $19 million per.
Budda Baker's.
You want to pay safety $19 million?
Yes, they have
impact
the money
game
this
as much
year.
as Derwin James. What about
Can I
Minka
ask you a question?
Fitzpatrick? Makes over just $18.2 million.
I'm about ready to fight Bo Brock on this
Jamal
show.
Adams makes $17.5 million.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Jesse Bates makes over $16
Why
million.
do you care if they give him more money this year to appease him when they
talking
are
about
not
this
using
year.
money? Well, you can extend him and then front load the deal and use a bunch of your cap from this year. Why couldn't you just do that? You have a problem with that?
No,
And make the last couple of years be
Budda
hollow.
He wants long-term security here, financial security.
I don't know. You got extra money, just kick him some extra money. Give him a raise. Kick him a little scratch. Arizona Animal, they just gave him money. You know what's happening, I heard? So I have this source now. The money they were going to pay Budda, they're using on everybody's breakfast now. At the facility.
Perfect.
They're going to come out.
Omelet Station, or what are we talking about here?
Budda, sorry we couldn't pay you. We had to pay for everybody's Cheerios. Zach Ertz needed his Cheerios on the house.
We got Honey Nut in here. It's perfect.
Hey, Budda, sorry. Here's your Eggo waffle for free. You're welcome.
You guys want to read an ad?
You guys,
No.
you want maybe some bacon and sausage? We got that.
You know
we
where
have
I can-
options.
Yeah.
We have
I'm getting-
options here.
It's making me hungry. I need to pick up a snack, and I'm going to do it from our friends at Circle K. I'm gassed up today from this topic. You should be gassed up with Circle K ahead of the weekend. It's going to be hot this weekend, so make sure you got your AC cranked up and you got a full gas tank. Do it with our friends at Circle K. We're so excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. Check out your local Circle K. Best coffee, best beer, snack selection, and premium gas for not a premium price, mind you. Polar Pops on the reg. Those are fantastic. Get the big gulps, baby. Iced coffee, 12 packs of beer, 4 Peaks. Hello. I need a Red Bull and a Monster Energy drink to get through this show because I'm about to start crying over this Budda Baker news. I got to keep my heart rate up because I'm fired up. Make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff that Circle K's got going on right now. All you got to do, head to Circle K circlek.com/store locator. That's circlek.com/store locator to find the nearest Circle K to you, Bo.
We've got our draft party, better days in the future for this organization. They're going to bring on, Johnny's been calling for it. They got to nail this draft, and that starts with the first round nailing this draft. And we're going to have our draft party live from Four Peaks. You want to be there. It's free to RSVP today. That's right. Get your spot. April 27th begins at 2 p.m. It's going throughout the first round of the draft. Johnny, myself, the entire PHNX crew, we're going to be hanging out. Special guests coming on that night as well. Join us for beer specials, giveaways, of course. They've got all the great food on that menu, starting with your appetizers through your entrees to your desserts. Can't go wrong. Plus that PHNX Cardinals live show going on. Four Peaks, PHNX Sports. It's unbelievable. And I'm going to have, of course, probably Kilt Lifter. You can put that on the list. Check it off. You've got the Wow Wheat, the #1 wheat beer that they have going on in the state of Arizona. And then you also have the Bourbon Barrel, the bourbon age beer that they have that they brew on site, and then they age it in the bourbon barrels. It's unbelievable. And you can't go wrong. You got it. It's so smooth. The Raj IPA, the Bourbon Raj, it's the best. We're going to have our draft party, RSVP today, April 27th. Be there. There's still spots open, but they're fading fast. You got to join us for the party, and we can't wait to see you there.
On shot first, can't wait to drink my sorrows away with you guys. Hell yeah, my guy. The party starts at 2 p.m., and I wish I had Four Peaks on tap at my home right now because I need it, but we're going to have a great time that draft night. Clearly, we could get a Hopkins trade. We could get a Budda Baker trade. We get a trade down. It is going to be one of the most unpredictable nights, and I would not spend it with anybody else. But the PHNX Cardinal faithful, we appreciate all of you. Trenell, $2 super chat. Let Monty cook, Johnny. Trent's is important, not safety. I agree with that 100%. I just think that I've watched this team.
Except in this one spot where I really like this player.
If you're going to be a jerk, I'm not going to do
the
rest.
I mean, it's like you can't pound the table for one thing and then say, hey, you got to invest in premium positions. And then when a guy, I mean, this is just the reality and the business of the NFL.
Do you think there's a possibility behind closed doors that they feel like when we're competitive again, when we're vying for a championship, Budda Baker is not going to be worth paying?
That's possible. I mean, you have to. This organization right now, the people that they hired in January and February, they were put in place to do it, build this team the right way for the first time in a long time. And, unfortunately, some of the guys that were on the team before and the guys that have played huge snaps and downs for this team and were a big part of the success that they had in the past, unfortunately, not everybody can come with you. And as much as you want Budda Baker to be the guy leading the charge on the defensive side of the football, like he's done since he was drafted here, since Steve Keim traded up to draft him in the second round of the 2018 draft, it's just that's the harsh reality of this. And to throw just future guaranteed dollars, it's just I don't think it makes sense for Monty Osfort to have to do that in order to just kind of put a Band-Aid over this wound.
Yeah, I've watched Tyrann Mathieu go and win a championship elsewhere. I've watched Aeneas Williams go and win a championship
Look what happened when Tyrann Mathieu left.
He had probably 3 to 4 peak years left. He went to Houston.
But what happened here?
Bad things, not good things.
No, not bad things. Budda Baker became his successor.
So okay, so if you promise that we'll find,
I'm not going to promise you that Budda Baker is going to.
You're up there talking about.
But look, that's the way the NFL happened. That's how it works. That's the cycle.
I have a cycle. It's called keep good players when you have good players when they're under 30. My cycle doesn't sync with yours, I guess. You're ready to trade everybody. This is not Madden franchise where you trade everybody for future picks. You got to field the team. Damn it, get it together. Get it together. What are people saying in the chat? You guys are crushing it today. Super chats, little Dreezy. Name 3 safeties better than Budda. If not, pay him 100%. I would way much rather have Budda Baker than Derwin James. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Stop with that.
Joel, Venezuela.
You don't believe that, do you? Do you believe that?
Look what Derwin James gets to play with. Look at Derwin James.
Like he would cover up Travis Kelce. I mean, Cardinals didn't have anybody that covered Kelce.
Okay. I have watched I've watched Vance Joseph.
And that's not an
mismanage-
indictment on Budda Baker. I mean,
Can I
that's
say
just,
this, please?
Yeah.
I've watched Vance Joseph mismanage this team. I've watched Steve Keim butcher draft picks, inside linebacker, tweener bullshit. The defensive line is horrendous, right? They overpay free agents. Budda is the one constant, and he cleans up so many messes. Derwin James, he's out there with Joey Bosa and a bunch of elite players on the Chargers defense. It's like I'm rewarding Budda Baker, and I think I have enough money in my cap, my robust cap. I can pay Budda Baker and still get this rebuild back on track. Joel in the chat, $4.99. To use the Jamal Adam trade reference, they were able to draft Elijah Vera Tucker, Garrett Wilson, use other draft picks to trade up for Breece Hall. Well, two of those players are hurt, but I get your point. And yeah, those are great players. Again, I think they would trade them if they got a boatload of picks. Similar to Hopkins, but even more so, what you're going to get in return for Budda Baker is not going to be worth trading him. Like, are they going to have to settle for a fourth for D-Hop? People are going to lose their shit over that. So if you trade away Budda Baker for a third-round pick, I mean, this franchise might collapse by the end of the day. Like that, you can't. There's not a package outside of like a Jamal Adams-esque package that is going to let people be okay with this, which is why I don't think they will trade him. I don't. I think they'll let me
use an example of unpopular decisions made by a team to the fan base that actually ended up working out for them. And it happened as recent as last offseason within your division. The Seattle Seahawks traded their franchise quarterback and a future Hall of Fame linebacker. They outright released Bobby Wagner. They outright released him. And he went on to star with the Rams, and he's back with Seattle, right? And it's like you have to make unpopular decisions because it is a cap league. And it's like the likelihood. There's data that proves that players, especially that take hits like the linebacker position or safety position, that the shelf life in the NFL is not long. So to invest future guaranteed dollars, it just doesn't make a lot of sense business wise. And it's I appreciate a general manager willing to make those tough decisions and be unpopular.
We'll see if he does. Jalen Blair, $2 super chat. That Monty pre-draft presser is going to be so good. Laugh out loud. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Ryan with the $1.99 super chat. I stand with Bo today. Listen, there are people who are supporting Bo's mindset. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm a little bit surprised that a lot of the fan base is just like, hey, we're already gutting the roster. Just trade him or don't extend him. I understand that. But I mean, it's a long season. It's a long NFL season. It's 17 games. And I've watched this guy crush it for this franchise. And despite the ineptitude, the toxicity, I don't think there's anything wrong with tacking on an extra year or two and rewarding a guy. And I don't think it's going to hamper what they do long term. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. All right, let me
maintain this real quick.
Okay.
Just a couple parting words as far as this conversation, right?
Sure.
I think two things can be true at the same time. You love to watch Budda Baker play football. You want to see him retire in Arizona Cardinal, and you want to continue to watch him play here in the desert. But for him to kind of force the hand of the organization to extend him and make him the highest paid safety in the NFL, you don't have to agree with that. And you can feel both of them. This is not a good day. Like everything I've said today, I'll still agree with everybody that this is a dark day for the franchise because Budda and what he's done here, he's reached rare air. He's with the legends of the game that have worn the Cardinals uniform.
I just feel like anybody who's worked a job in a professional work environment, and I know this isn't apples to oranges, and you see people being let go and there's cost cutting and you have to take on more of a responsibility. There's nothing wrong with going to your leadership and saying, hey, I'm doing the job of multiple people. You need to pay me more. And that's what Budda Baker's doing. I'm carrying this franchise. No Kyler Murray, right? No D-Hop. I'm the face of it right now. We're rebuilding. This is yet another new head coach. I've played under 3 coaches here now. Gannon, Arians, Wilkes, 4, and Cliff Kingsbury. 4 coaches. There's nothing wrong with going to your leadership and asking for more money. And they can say no, and that's their choice, and it's his choice to ask for a trade.
Let's keep it respectful in the chat. Did I just see hashtag baloney Bo? Come on, guys. We're better than that.
Somebody's telling you to stop the baloney, Bo.
Easy.
Let's clean it up.
He's a great follow on Twitter. We get that on the merchandise locker. Okay.
Budda has tweeted. He has tweeted.
What did he say?
He said, love you, Cardinals fans.
Love you. I'll see you in New England. That's what he'll say. What if they traded D-Hop and Budda in the same package? Would Cardinal fans have
Stop
a
it, Johnny.
heart attack?
Stop it.
All right, let's talk about those uniforms, baby. Kyle Odegaard reported
How
today
convenient.
the unveiling of the uniforms that we don't know who the fuck's going to wear these uniforms are going to be unveiled next Thursday, April 20th. And your boy, we got the inside scoop as to when and where. First look, this is from our guy hiding out on Twitter. This supposedly was sent to season ticket holders out there. An exclusive first look into the 2023 season. Join us for a Q&A. Good hell with Coach Jonathan Gannon. You and a guest, April 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Where the Van Buren, right down conveniently from the offices of PHNX headquarters. The evening includes appearances by players, cheerleaders, mascot Big Red, photo ops, live DJ, complimentary bar, and appetizers. Oh, don't miss out. Click to RSVP. That is next Thursday, April 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Those are when the new uniforms are getting announced, Bo Brock.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have positioned it as a first look at the 2023 season with Jonathan Gannon, if you look at that graphic. But then we had this report from Kyle Odegaard at Compare.bet. This is a report from Kyle. Get the graphic just it's just right above you right there. Yep. Let's take a look at it. The Arizona Cardinals are expected to unveil their new uniforms at the Van Buren Music Venue in downtown Phoenix on April 20th, 420. Multiple sources told Compare.bet with Kyle Odegaard. So Cardinals not positioning it as the uniform reveal, but Kyle Odegaard has sources saying that that's what this event is.
I like this comment, Ryan H. Big Red, the mascot, is the only jersey I will buy. Safe. It's a safe play. It's a safe play. Maybe get, I don't know. I don't even know. Who else
I just saw that Big Red just scrubbed his social media channels of any Arizona Cardinals paraphernalia.
Big Red has entered the transfer portal.
He's in the transfer portal. He's on his way out. So it's not a safe bet any longer.
You can't go wrong with a legacy play. You put Tillman on the back.
Who's the guy that they always show when the Cardinals are playing prime time? He's got the Cardinals like 69 jerseys at heck.
Oh yeah, that guy's great.
He's got the one bar face mask.
Cortez.
Yeah, that's right. Cortez is great. Maybe get a Cortez jersey.
We're all gonna get 69 jerseys, Cortez style, baby. That's what we need. Rod Tidwell is the only safe jersey to buy. This is the Budda shit's masked my excitement for the uniform now. So we know it's going down. Bo and I are going to try to weasel our way there or around it. We have not been confirmed if media is allowed to go. Have we gotten an invite, Bo? Do we get an invite yet?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet as far as the Cardinals inviting media members to this event. That's still, it's positioned as an evening with Jonathan Gannon, an evening with JG.
I love Jonathan.
We're going to be on the outside looking in the glass and just,
hello.
What are you guys doing in there?
Do
you got any jerseys yet?
So they filmed, according to Kyle's article, go read it, Compare.bet. They filmed something with players with the jerseys. And so that kind of dispelled, Bo, as you were talking about Hollywood Brown not seeing it. Supposedly he's probably been one of the folks that modeled it. Do you think we get like a video release first and then they do the event? Because that'd be pretty shitty to make us wait until like 8 p.m. or 8:30 to unveil uniforms. You want to do that in like the heart of the business day, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to approach it, but it's going to be a week away from draft night. Why do you think it's unfair to do it later in the evening?
Because that's not a good place to drop a big announcement. Like Thursday night, like late, people aren't on Twitter. People are hanging out with their family. Like you do it in the middle of the day when the news cycle is flowing. Like you doing it at like 8 p.m. at night, I think is really short-sighted. I don't know. But Bo and I are going to go live immediately when we have information on the uniforms. We're going to talk about it here in a safe space, PHNX Cardinals. And we'll be there if we can. But we may not be because we didn't get invited yet. So we'll see.
Do you anticipate a leak before then?
If they were smart, they'd do it like Monday to get this Budda thing out of the cycle. But no, I don't think we'll get a leak. I think they've kept it under wraps to this point. They can't keep their team figured out and tightened up. But, man, they can keep these uniforms under lock and key. Nobody's found that briefcase yet.
This team, this fan base has survived a lot of tough decisions from this organization. And it's not – the Cardinals aren't the only ones that have to make these decisions. Like I mentioned, Seattle parted ways with Bobby Wagner. They traded Russell Wilson. I've seen Jerry Rice wear some weird uniforms before. Hell, Emmitt Smith played in an Arizona Cardinals uniform. Like we've seen Darnell Dockett get cut. Adrian Wilson played the same position as Budda Baker, got cut one day.
Hang on. Can I make a point? A lot of the players you're naming, like they're old. Bobby Wagner's 32. He left the Seahawks when he was 31. And they were clearly headed in a horrific, downward spiral. And Bobby Wagner wasn't good anymore. Budda Baker's 27 years old. He's still a top player at his position. I don't think Dockett was well over 30.
But I feel like he's got a perfect amount of years left on his deal to where it's going to take him to potentially his age 29 season. I think it just works out well.
Do you think they trade him?
See, that's the one thing I was when he started doing the cryptic stuff on his social media. It was like, did the Cardinals attempt to trade him? Did they discuss trading him? Because the two assets that they viewed as their top assets in D-Hop in the 3rd overall pick, they still have both of those. Did they feel like they were going to deal those already? And they hadn't. And they envisioned having a certain amount of draft capital for this draft and a future draft, and they don't have that yet, and had to maybe dip into their asset bank savings and pull out a Budda Baker, the break glass rainy day fund.
I don't think they trade him. I think they just call his bluff, and if he doesn't show up, he doesn't make money. And then I think he ends up showing up and plays good football, and then probably leaves. If what Jalen Blair in the chat is saying is correct, then he probably leaves after this year. They probably don't pick up his option. They probably say, hey, we'll save $14-15 million. I think this gives good context. Like Jalen Thompson better ball out. I know his contract just kicks in this year, but like he got an extension last year, had just a decent year. He was a kind guy. Like that position, if Budda Baker is not safe, ain't nobody safe. And I can tell you right now, and I'm going to bring this full circle. I'm sure Bo knows where I'm going with this. Any Isaiah Simmons defenders in the chat, Budda Baker can't get paid. You think Isaiah Simmons is getting $12 million next year? No way. Yeah. No.
The deadline way. Now, it's what? It's 3 weeks away, May 2nd. So they have to make the decision. I don't think it doesn't look like they're going to pick up that 5th-year option. So, but you look at Jonathan Gannon's, who he was able to develop, like you talk about Minnesota, Indy, Philly at the safety position. He developed a guy like Marcus Epps who was able to cash in this offseason, played a big role in that Philly defense this year. He was a 6th-round pick. It's like the stand-up linebacker, inside linebacker position for Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort. It's a position that they won't likely invest a lot of money into.
It's a good point by Plant-Based Carnivore. It's stupid if you plan on Budda not being here next year, but you won't trade him now. I think it's a lot of different factors that go into that with Michael Bidwell and marketing of the team this year and trying to field a team that can at least be competitive for Jonathan Gannon. You can't set Jonathan Gannon up to be terrible next year. You can't set this team up to have no talent and to go into a 17-game season, even in the dwindling NFC. Like you need players to play with, and you got to teach these young players that they're going to draft in 2 weeks in the squad last year, the McBrides of the world, like what it looks like and how to win. And it does a lot on the young players' makeup. Like you're not going to be saved like Cincinnati was by Joe Burrow, who came in and bailed out Zach Taylor because he was a winner and a gamer and he elevated everybody on the roster, right? Cardinals don't have that benefit. We've got a quarterback now that's not going to play to start the year. They've got uncertainty with the backup. Like you got to have the Budda Bakers of the world for this year, if only for this year to help carry the baton to 2024. Like if you were going to try to go 0-17, you should have just kept Cliff Kingsbury. That's my mindset. If Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell were just going to try to purposely lose and tank, like Jonathan Gannon told us at the Combine, like off the record, on the record, like they're trying to win games this year. And I know all their moves would suggest the opposite. I don't think they're openly trying to lose games. As Jalen Blair saying that we signed Jeff Driscoll, Bo Brock, ex-Detroit Lions, so connections there with Dave Sears, who was there with him in Detroit, I believe.
That fixes everything, doesn't it? We feel better.
Cardinals are like, get the Driscoll signing out there. Buddha's gone rogue.
Oh man, yeah, we're all set now. We got Jeff Driscoll, and it just feels like that Lombardi is it's coming up next. Now that you got the QB in place, I haven't seen that anywhere. The team hasn't announced it yet, have they? But I mean, I would have loved to see Budda Baker be a part of this team this upcoming season. Absolutely. He's under contract the next 2 years. He still has the ability to do that. But look, if Budda Baker is trying to leverage this into more money and more financial security, then fine, go for it. But if he forces his way out, like in the new regime is first to find, the best, the highest bidder for it, and they do that, and it's an unpopular decision, I understand it. I mean, you can't make him the highest paid safety at this point in his career and commit more future guaranteed dollars to a 27-year-old safety.
It's confirmed. Aaron Wilson reporting he did in fact sign a 1-year contract with this team. So Cardinals, well done, getting some other news into the news cycle with Jeff Wilson Friday news drop. Good stuff. You know what else is good? Octane Raceway and Maverick. If you need to take your mind off our precious Redbirds, and let's just call it some of the curious decisions that they're making right now, best place for Octane Raceway and Maverick. We've had a blast going out there. I've taken my friends, my family. Right now, you can get an evergreen summer pass at Octane Raceway, go-kart racing, virtual reality, axe throwing, right? We know our guy Howard Balzer loves to throw an axe. Multiple games on axe throwing. Buy now for the best rate. It's so great. April 30th, guess what? Raiders 4-on-4 virtual reality tournament, chance to win up to $1,000. Hello, if you're into virtual reality. Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. Margaritas, $5 off. 2 taco trios featuring the delicious barbecue short-ribbed tacos. $15 Mexican beer buckets. I could go for several beer buckets right now in light of this Budda Baker news. And then May 6th, UFC 88. Be sure to reserve your table. 8 p.m. start time. And then lastly, so much good stuff going on at Octane Raceway. May 14th, they've got their Mother's Day brunch extravaganza. From scratch brunch, half off mimosas. Who doesn't love a mimosa until 2 p.m. and a free $10 game card with every brunch purchase. All moms get a free axe throwing and a free race with one paid guest. So Octane Raceway and Maverick, if you need something to do this spring, check them out. You will not be sorry that you did.
It's electric. Axe throwing.
I've got an axe to grind with the Cardinals.
Oh, do you? Well said, but you're not going to have any problem, though, with furnishing your home, Johnny.
Okay.
You're not going to have an axe to grind with our friends over at More Furniture. They already are starting to advertise their Memorial Day sale, which is going on next month. Take advantage of 50% off. You got to check out what's going on at morefurniture.com, though. They've got the digital doorbusters, limited time. You got the Bubba 6-piece reclining sofa. My God, this thing is beautiful. It looks sleek, looks super comfortable. It's sectional with armless recliner. It's graphite. You've got also some beds on sale right now. $495. You can get yourself a queen bed, the rough hewn panel bed. It's brown. It's gorgeous. You got to get it in your bedroom, maybe your guest room. Yeah, More Furniture's got something for everybody. You're looking to maybe deck out your living room, your dining room, your kids' room, your office entertainment center. Do it at More Furniture. Check out what they got going on their website, morefurniture.com, and take advantage of that white glove delivery.
Now we know why Budda Baker wasn't with Kyler Murray and James Conner and Marquise Hollywood Brown and Greg Dortch at the Coyotes game last night, the finale. So Kyler Murray, Coyotes gave him a jersey. Awesome. Don't love that Kyler Murray was booed last night, as our own Leah reported. Didn't love that. Producer Shane, Bo Brock, not a fan of booing Kyler Murray right now. Kyler's out there. He's supporting the Valley. He's got a Diamondbacks hat on. Last game of a kind of a stinker season for the Coyotes. Let's give the guy some love. He's trying to come back from an ACL. Let's not kick a guy while he's down.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that it's stupid that you have, Arizona fans, Coyote fans who are likely Cardinals fans, and they're going to sit back and they're going to boo your franchise quarterback. They're going to applaud social media star. They're going to applaud a role player on the Suns. And then when it comes to the franchise quarterback, they're going to smatter in some boos, which is completely ridiculous as Kyler Murray works his way back rehabbing knee surgery, a guy that I think has fallen kind of victim a bit to national media reports that I don't trust or believe necessarily. I've seen it with my own eyes. Obviously, you know, I agree with you a little bit with something like Kelvin Beachum has to say, that he has absolute room to grow and will grow. But I also feel like this guy is getting a raw end of the deal. And when he's rehabbing his knee, he's in town, working out with his teammates, going out with his teammates, supporting other local professional teams, both the D-backs and the Coyotes, and you're going to sit back and you're going to boo him just because he played poorly in a disastrous 2022 season. And on the heels of signing a historic contract. I mean, I get that you wanted him to be great and to continue his rise, but it was a brutal season. But in April to boo him for that, it's stupid.
Makes me sad. It's like, come on now. All we ask for athletes to support the Valley, the team that they, represent. They're going out, spending their time representing, other friends. This isn't, KD supporting the Diamondbacks, right? It's not the same thing. But I mean, it's a cool environment. And Kyler Murray's there and he's hanging out, and I'm sure he's, talking to fans and just gets a boo sandwich on Thursday night. Don't love that. Don't love the optics. Listen, you can boo or cheer whomever you want, but I mean, like, clearly we only got so many wins here, figuratively and literally and narratively, in the Valley right now. This is a guy who's working his ass off to come back and hopefully give us winning football sooner rather than later. So everybody, let's show a little class. How about that? I used to say that a lot.
No, I mean, I think it's a fair request, and to the fact that he's become such a polarizing figure, it doesn't add up to me. Right. Yeah. I mean, to come out of the gates, to win the offensive rookie of the year, to be a 2-time Pro Bowler. You can look at those awards, those accolades as maybe kind of empty calories, but he was able to, in his first 3 seasons, lead this team to more wins than the previous season in a playoff appearance. Now, the playoff appearance was disastrous, right? And then what followed up the next season was disastrous, but we've seen what type of player he can be. And I think people have kind of, for whatever reason, bought into this narrative that he's like this, all he does is play video games and he doesn't care, about his coaches or his teammates. And I think that's completely off base. He's a guy that, and the thing I can appreciate though, is Kyler Murray doesn't care what people think about him.
No.
All he wants to do is play football and win football games. And people might disagree with that, but that's the way I see it. And this is to boo him because he got a big contract and underperformed for a bad team doesn't add up.
No, and I think we're going to see a different version of Kyler Murray when he comes back, one that clearly is going to have to carry the load on the field and off. I mean, if Budda Baker's gone at some point, if DeAndre Hopkins is gone, we anticipate, it's going to be on K1. And that's what happens. You get paid $45, $50, $55 million, and he's got a lot of guaranteed money coming his way. And I know we speculated on if they could take a quarterback this year or next year or the year after, but Kyler's going to be asked to carry the team, and he should be. He's the quarterback. As soon as he's healthy, like, he needs to reinsert himself as the face of this franchise, to be the spokesperson along with Jonathan Gannon that can lead this team into the next half decade, hopefully of success. So I do think that there comes an added responsibility, and by and large, I think Kyler can handle that. I think he will. I think he's going to turn out to be a different person under a, let's call it, more competent coaching staff that's going to be able to empower him and coach him and challenge him and put him in the best positions to succeed. So, as frustrated as I am about the situation with Budda Baker and Hopkins to some extent, I have never wavered on my appreciation for what I think this franchise, this coaching staff, and this GM are going to do for Kyler Murray. And that, I think that needs to be the highlight. I posted this on Twitter. They have used 7 of their top 30 visits on offensive tackles. They've used 8 of their top 30 visits on offensive linemen, period. So almost 1 out of 3 visits that they're doing of the precious top 30 pre-draft meetings, which you only get 30 of them, they're spending that time with offensive linemen. What does that tell you? Like, they want to fortify this O-line for Kyler Murray. They want this O-line to not be a sieve that he's had to use, a turnstile. They've signed a bunch of linemen, some journeymen. They re-signed some of their own from last year. They have given themselves a cushion. So, I mean, they're prioritizing Kyler Murray's health, and I appreciate that because the last GM did not. The last GM was allergic to early round offensive linemen, and Kyler Murray paid the price. And so I'm hopeful that Kyler Murray will be rewarded with some protection because I think it's needed. It's overdue.
And what they're going to do this draft and what they're preparing for this offseason and next offseason, and hopefully they'll hit on some of these picks and develop them, is creating a little bit of a nest egg, right, for when Kyler Murray's mega contract kicks in, because he's playing under his 5th-year option right now. He's only $16 million against the cap, and it's, I think, around like 3% of the cap, to where that's going to go up exponentially. It's going to be like somewhere between like 17% of the cap. So, you have to be a little bit wiser in your team building, right? And you can't just go give an aging safety guaranteed dollars beyond maybe 2024, 2025. Do you agree with that?
I'm done with you. I'm not done with GoPHNX.com. Become a diehard. Listen, you don't have to become a diehard to come to the free draft event that we're having at Four Peaks, April 27th. But let me give you a little sweetener. I'm going to tell you what you need to do right now. Go to GoPHNX.com, become a diehard for the entire year. You unlock everything, free articles, even though 90% are free, discounts on events, exclusive member Discord. Come yell at Bo and I. The diehard, it's the place to be. Because of the diehard, you get a free hat and or shirt. Okay, get your free shirt. Come and party with Bo and I, April 27th at Four Peaks, 2 p.m. start time. Bo and I are going to buy your first drink. If you're rocking a PHNX tee, whether it's a Cardinal t-shirt, that's preferred, but you show some love. Diamondbacks, Sun Devils, Coyotes, Suns, whatever you want to do, rock your t-shirt, come and party with Bo and I, but you got to do it at GoPHNX.com, and you got to become a diehard. What are you pointing your finger up?
I have breaking news. We've identified who the face of the new Cardinals uniform is going to be. Any guesses?
No.
Arizona Cardinals left tackle DJ Humphries.
Congrats, DJ.
The Cardinals have released a trailer, if you'll call it that, of DJ Humphries getting in a luxury SUV and then taking a helicopter to the coordinates that were in the original teaser video. I'm watching it live. He's picked up the case.
None of this is true. What you're saying,
I'm assuming he's going to take this case to the Van Buren on April 20th as you suck down your juice box. DJ Humphries.
Is this even like
face of the franchise?
What are we doing here, guys? Where'd you get that from? I don't see that anywhere.
The Cardinals just tweeted it out. It's a teaser video for the April 20th event.
They deleted it.
Oh, they did?
Yes, they deleted it. Did it get spammed to death? It's been deleted.
I don't know. I just gave you a shot-for-shot breakdown. It was DJ in his home. He gets a text, and he gets the coordinates. He jumps in his luxury SUV, drives to a helicopter.
It's gone.
Takes the helicopter ride to the desert location in the Sonoran Desert, picks up the briefcase, and then takes the briefcase to the Van Buren.
We got two $2 super chats from Diego. One saying Simmons is going to play safety. #agree with Bologna. And then another $2 super chat from Diego saying F all those people who booed Connor.
That's right, Diego. Diego, speaking my language, my man. Thank you for those super chats. Can this team just be normal? Do things normal things, treat people right, pay your players. Don't fuck up your social media rollouts. What's going on here, Cardinals? Jeff Driscoll on a Friday afternoon, you tweet a video, then you delete it? Come on.
I'm sure it will be back up online. It will be on your feed in a couple minutes.
I don't know what they're doing. This has been one of the craziest shows. Shady Rays. Talk about Shady Rays, Bo. Shane's trying to end this show.
Shadiest team in the NFL to the coolest polarized sunglasses you can buy for a great price. Of course, our friends over at Shady Rays. I've got some Folkleys. I've got some Bayrans just collecting dust. because I got some Shady Rays now. These are unbelievable. I love my Shady Rays. I'm already going to lock in a couple pairs for not only myself, but my wife, and you can get 50% off. They got the best deal of the season. Exclusively for our listeners and our viewers, you got to take advantage of this. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code PHNX for 50% off 2 pairs.
You say 50?
50% off. That's half off your 2 pairs of sunglasses, polarized sunglasses. That's going to keep the sun out of your eyes when you're searching for a box that is holding uniforms in the desert. You can search longer now that you've got polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself shades that have been rated 5 stars. Get this, not just by Johnny, Shane, and myself, but 250,000 people have given a 5-star rating to Shady Rays. Check them out for yourself. Like I said, take advantage of the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX to get 50% off 2 pairs.
Love my team. Not this team. This team I got here. PHNX Cardinals, PHNX producer Shane doing a fabulous job today. Producer Jacob, the day off for his birthday, kind of the day off. So we want to wish producer Jacob a happy birthday.
Definitely didn't have the day
Yeah,
off.
he worked.
He just left.
He worked like a dog on his birthday.
Yeah,
we actually worked him harder.
Yeah, we did work him harder. Sorry, everybody.
Producer Emma cranking out the graphics on the rag. We have the best team here, and I appreciate all the comments we do saying this has made the offseason easier. That's humbling for Bo and I to hear. We're just going to ask you to do one more thing. Come to the draft party. Sign up for the draft party. Come party with us. Free 99, as Bo Brack would say. Get the RSVP reservation link from our Twitter at Johnny Venerable, at Bo Brack. Maybe we'll throw it in the chat if we're feeling spicy here. Come and sign up. We're just trying to get a head count so we can tell our friends at Four Peaks how much space we need. But you can bring your family. It's not 18, 21 or over. Everybody can come out. Robust food and drink menu. The Cardinals at this rate are going to have a ton of picks, whether they trade D-Hop or Budda Baker or not. The trade back is real. We want to party with you. We want to usher in this new era of Cardinal football. The draft with all this news can't come soon enough. And they're going to be sporting new uniforms as they embrace the Commissioner Roger Goodell. Again, Four Peaks draft party, April 27, 2 p.m. in Tempe. Bo and I want to see you there. Go sign up right now.
Has your confidence been shaken as far as Monty Austinfort?
No, because again, I agree with you that it's not their problem to clean up. And if it doesn't fit their model, they shouldn't waver on it. It's just a sucky situation. It makes me sad because you know what? Budda Baker is the franchise's heart, and he's the epitome of everything you want, and he's still an elite player. And I don't like giving away elite players. And so I hope they can make it work here, at least in the short term. We get to see Budda Baker play football again for this franchise. It will be one of the most disheartening days as a fan of this franchise, somebody who covers this team, if they trade away Budda Baker. That's how I feel about it.
Even though, I was making the case for the front office and their stance. But absolutely, it would be a dark day for the franchise to see one of its most talented players exit. It's never a great day. If anything happens over the weekend, of course, we'll have an emergency pod for you. So make sure you're subscribed and you got those alerts set up, PHNX_sports here on YouTube. Of course, you're subscribed wherever you find podcasts. Guys, have a good weekend. If we don't talk to you in between now and Monday, for Johnny Venerable, producer Shane, Brock.
Watch the prospect breakdowns.
Watch the prospect breakdowns. We've got a tasty one up right now, Tyree Wilson, and we got some cornerbacks, Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon. Who do we like best? And who fits the Cardinals potentially the best in the top 10? That'll drop over the weekend. But enjoy that. Also enjoy Shane caught up with Sun Devils head coach Kenny Dillingham. That's at PHNX Sports. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman is at PHNX Sports as well. So much great content. You can't find it anywhere else but PHNX Sports. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon.